I think I may have wasted years of my life as a human art slop generator. That's a hard thing to admit, but looking deeply at my career in mobile games, I have to be honest with myself. AI slop is what they call the inauthentic mass marketing specific content that AI is able to generate on the fly. I can't help but reflect on the type of content I produced over my years working as an artist. This rant has been building up in the back of my mind for some time. I've been doing research on varied topics when I write content for Heavy Meta. When researching the exploitation of comic book artists for various pieces, my thesis on modern media became even more crystallized. The majority of content that corporate machines created over the past 50 years is basically slop. My personal opinion is that this has something to do with the mindset focused on hyperproductivity. Productivity and authenticity are concepts that largely are in opposition to each other. When studying the Christian saints and how the Catholic Church was an early pioneer of marketing methods we use to this very day, how the saints operated in a space in the collective consciousness where superheroes, to a lesser degree, operate today, I have to admit, the media I grew up with loving, comics, is largely a downgrade in my view in terms of the stories that they represent. The well-known of these heroes, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, they all have something in common. Something I would call like a scientismic cosmism mythology. Their stories are rooted in a quote-unquote reality the collective likes to believe is well understood, ultimately reinforcing an external authoritative worldview. Let's look at these. Spider-Man, for example, bitten by a radioactive spider and endowed with its abilities. Here, science is effectively a god of some sort for all intents and purposes. And then there's Batman, a rich kid whose parents are killed by some insane grinning miscreant because the state is too lax, a small mix of ironic fate caused by a failed government system. The answer to this failure? A billionaire secret cop. And then there's Superman, the pinnacle of materialist cosmism, the flawed alien god who could actually rule the world, but instead he chooses to work a shit job. In every case, these characters only work to support the system as it exists. It could be said that they are just extensions of the state in one way or the other ultimately. I'm not naive to the fact that the saints also reinforced a particular worldview of the time. In fact, at some points, if history we're told is true, one could meet a horrible demise by going against the popular opinion of the church. Still, the essence of the ultimate defiance always persists in the stories of the martyred saints. Each saint's story is deeply personal, and it's a journey that ultimately leads to the ultimate sacrifice, just for one simple idea. For each, the ultimate authority that governed them existed completely outside the realm of the material. This in itself is an idea that any authority in the earthly realm will have trouble contending with. Additionally, because they are linked with religion, each story carries weight in a collective mind forged over thousands of years. When I see a bunch of superheroes lined up on the page together, all wearing their underwear outside their pants, it makes me wonder if that pioneering style is some sort of joke on the dumbing down of the populace. So I looked up the origin. It's likely to do with the strongmen in the traveling circuses. So all the superheroes are just basically circus performers, and some of the most iconic villains, they're literally clowns. The whole pantheon is just a circus, strong men in tights against the painted clowns. This says a lot on its own if you think about it. There is definitely some formulaic structure in most modern superhero stories. This is likely because of the tendency needed to produce, and the sole reason to produce is actually just to make more sales. I don't pretend to know the answer. These tactics work many times and they do produce sales. So is the problem really the corporate machine, or is it the millions of seemingly mindless consumers? Or is it both? As I reflect on this, it stings a bit when I look at the body of work I created as a working artist. I always tried to put my personal touch on anything I worked on, but even so, mesmerizing effects and animations that keep the eyes glued on those match 3 symbols or those spinning slot reels, it leaves you feeling a bit dissatisfied. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I wrote this with the intention of being provocative. Look at the stories and heroes that inspired you. What do they really represent? Why is it that they inspire you? If you aspire to be a professional artist, is it simply to get paid for doing something that you enjoy? This was the case for me, and I still did it for years, but it left some sort of void that I want to fill with the work that I wanted to create from the very beginning.